Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today we're on our way to go and pick up a very cheap Audi TT. Now, worryingly, the last time I bought a very cheap Audi TT, it all ended in tears. It was a bright red 2004 and it was just a complete mess. I sold that for a big loss of around, I think I paid £1,800 for it and sold it for £800. Anyway, we move on. Now, if I were a sensible person, I'd be thinking, hang on a minute, I've been here before. Let me learn from this. Once bitten, twice shy, all that sort of stuff. But I'm not. So I said yes, and yeah, the rest is history. The last cheap TT that I bought, where I ended up having my pants pulled down or my cap nailed on or whatever expression you choose to use, that was a Mark 1. It was a Mark 1 facelift, whereas this one today that I've bought for a similar sort of price is a Mark 2. So it does seem very cheap. It's a 2008 Mark 2 2-litre turbo diesel and it's quattro, so it does have a bit going for it really. You know, you might pull a face at the thought of a diesel sports car, and rightly so, but on the other side of the coin, this will do like 55 miles per gallon and it's cheap road tax, so it kind of makes sense. Okay, perhaps not as an out-and-out sports car, but as something sporty-ish that you can use every day, then it does make sense really, I think. I've paid just £2,000 for this, and when you consider I paid £1,800 for the last one, this does look like a bit of a bargain. And on the bright side, it's been described to me as being, and I quote, all right. Let's hope it is all right then. Now, before I agreed to buy this, I checked it out thoroughly using Car Vertical. Now, it's really important that you do this before you hand over any cash for a used car or motorbike. I always preach about them, but that's just because the service that they offer is really good. So all you need to do is go to carvertical.com, type in the reg or the VIN number, and don't think this is just a UK thing either. It works in 35 different countries. So as we can see here with this TT, we can type the reg in and then check vehicle. Now, it doesn't actually take long and it isn't expensive, and it's cheaper still if you use my promo code. If you use my promo code HIGHPEAK, that's HIGHPEAK all one word, HIGHPEAK, you can save yourself a whopping 20% off each and every check that you do. As we can see from this TT, it all checks out fine. It's never been stolen, there's no outstanding finance, and it's never been involved in a recorded accident, so that's all good. The mileage is all consistent. It's done around 150,000 miles, which I know is quite high, but it's a 16-year-old car now, so it's actually about average mileage, or in fact, just below. It shows here the average market value, the specs. It's a 6-speed manual turbo diesel. That's all fine. If we go down to the most recent MOTs, there are a few advisory items, so I'll have to look out for those. But that's about it. So cheers, Car Vertical, for sponsoring today's video. Right, let's go and look at this Audi TT. Well, here we go then. Welcome to my new to me 2008 Audi TT diesel quattro. I'm quite impressed with it so far, you know. Drives really well. The mileage is, I hope this isn't an omen, it's done 150,666. You wouldn't actually know that it'd done 150,000 miles though. Pulls really well. It doesn't smoke on acceleration, so that's good. It's a little bit dirty and there's a slight wheel bearing noise, a bit of a hum from there. Yes, offside front. But apart from that, it's quite a nice car. We've got a nice little flat bottom steering wheel, which I don't like, but quite sporty. Window works. Other one works, and I've just broken my camera. It's quite a good colour as well, this actually. It's like a, well, you can see for yourself, like a sort of grey-blue colour. I'm afraid I don't know the exact colour. There is one fault, weirdly. The radio keeps losing its power. So right now we're listening to greatest hits.
And right now, we need all of you giving types to give.
But then every couple of seconds, it just loses power and goes off.
Blood is amazing. It can help combat cancer, ease emergency.
It's not doing it now I've mentioned it. It needs quite a good clean though. It's got this half leather, half Alcantara interior, and they are a bit stained. The good thing I've noticed about the way this drives is my clutch is fine. There's no rattle. Sometimes, particularly at this sort of mileage, you'd expect there to be a load of vibration on the clutch pedal when you depress it, which would indicate the dual mass flywheel on its way out, which is quite an expensive job. You're talking £1,000 to replace the clutch and the dual mass flywheel, but in this, we're all good. That's nice. And it pulls, honestly. Pulls like a train. Right, what I'm going to do now then is park up somewhere scenic. I'm doing this in the wrong order, aren't I? I'm going to park up somewhere scenic and I'll give you a quick tour of it, because I haven't had a chance yet to check the tyres and the wheels and all that sort of stuff. I was literally just throwing the keys and I've jumped straight in it. I haven't even looked at the history or anything. How remiss of me. When I say keys though, I do mean all keys. We've got 1, 2, plus a little plastic valet key, which is unusual. I think what I'm going to do with this is take it down to my mechanics and let them check it over first, but then hopefully if it checks out okay, leave it for a service and a clean MOT. Because although it's done 150,000 miles, it's quite a nice car. I think I can retail this with some confidence. I would normally shy away from a car with this many miles, to be honest, especially for the forecourt. It's just not worth it. But in this case, it drives particularly well, which suggests somebody's looked after it. Apart from a little wheel bearing hum, which we can sort for about 80 quid. That's not the end of the world. And possibly an issue with the radio. But I've got a car audio specialist not too far away from the garage, so I'm sure he can have a look at that. He's very good. Let me show you around it. Yeah, it's all right though, this. Quite like it. Right then. I'm a big fan of the TT, to be honest. I've done loads of videos on this channel with TTs. I just think they're really good cars. I still think, bear in mind this is an old design now. I mean, this first came out in late 2006. So it's an 18-year-old design, and look at it. I think it still looks really contemporary. It's really stylish. Now, of course, next year, I think it's next year, they're discontinuing the TT, so you can no longer buy one. Up at the front end then, we've got fog lights. That's quite nice. They're both good, they're not cracked, they're not full of water. We've got xenons because we've got the headlamp wash. The bonnet isn't too chippy considering it's done 150k. Even the plates look all right. Now in terms of the wheels, they could do with being refurbished, to be honest, but I think I'll get away with them on a 150,000 mile car. Oh, we've got proper tyres here as well. So that is a Pirelli P0. Sadly, it's only on about 2.5 mil of tread, but it's a decent brand at least. Moving around the back, we've got a Bridgestone. That wheel bearing hum could, of course, be tyre noise. That's on about 3 mil of tread, so again, not brilliant, but it's all right. I don't even think there'd be an advisory item, to be honest. Around the back, then, nothing really to report. It's all in good order. We've got matching plates. I could replace them, but it might just be wasting money at this point. Got a pop-up spoiler. One of my key batteries is dead. Hang on a second. There we go. The good thing about this generation of TT as well, people think they're a really impractical car because they're only a sort of a 2+2, and no regular human could fit in there. However, watch this. When you lower the seats like this, just pop that down using the this little lever that Audi have given me. Look at the space. Get all sorts in there. So they're actually not as impractical as you'd think. So that's good. Yeah, I'm not sure how that went, so we'll just leave that off for now. Yeah, it's good colour. That helps. Moving around this side, we've got another curbed wheel. I mean, do I take it to Prestige Wheels and spend £300? Or do I just live with it? Have we got a matching bridge? Oh, we do. So we've got Bridgestones on the back. Have we got a Pirelli P0 on the front? We do. Someone's looked after this then, you know, which I suppose is why it still drives very well at 150k. It's been a local car. Yeah, this is all right. We've got Bosch wiper blades. It's always a good sign. Let's have a look inside then. So inside there are a few dog hairs, although it doesn't smell particularly doggy. The seat's a little bit worn on the bolster, but that's to be expected, really. Pop that up. It is quite clean. Yeah, bit of wear there in the rubber where someone's caught their foot on it for 150,000 miles. But it's pretty good, this. Pretty good. There's no book pack that I can see. Right, I'm going to have to chase up the main dealer then, aren't I, and see if there's any history. Because I don't know. There's no book pack anywhere. Nowhere obvious, anyway. Oh, that's not good, is it? Tried to have a look under the bonnet and it's just come off my hand. Oh, nearly there. No, okay, right. I can't tree under the bonnet then. Didn't want to see an engine anyway, did you? Just having a quick look under here to see if there's a book pack somewhere. Okay, right, no book pack. It's disappointing. However, like I say, it might still be the local main dealer. So I shall call them now, call my contact, and just see where it is. That's all right. Well, what should we do then? I think, first things first, get it down to my mechanics and let them check it over, see if it'll pass a fresh MOT. And has that bonnet been painted actually? Looks a bit dull. Oh no, I think it's just clouds, cloud cover. Yeah, so I think I'll get it down to my mechanics, leave it for a service, MOT, general check over, see how bad it is. And if it's all right, then see what it needs cosmetically. Apart from a very good valet, I think I might leave the wheels. I mean, what's this worth retail-wise? I mean, well, hang on a minute. I think my efforts there with the bonnet pull actually worked. These, of course, have a cam belt, which is due, I think, at 8 years. So it'd be quite nice to see a cam belt sticker, wouldn't it? We've got A1 fuel services. What could that mean? Somebody put petrol in it at some point, maybe? Don't know. Right, we've got no cam belt sticker. It's very honest under here. The chassis legs are straight. No signs of any accident damage. All looks pretty good actually. Built at a factory in Hungary. Okay, right, so what was I saying then? I'm going to get it down to my mechanics, have them check it over, and then take it from there. But yeah, there's nothing to do to it cosmetically. It's all pretty good. I mean, what's this worth retail? I know it's done a load of miles, but that still to me looks like a £3,500–4,000 car. It's got to be, hasn't it, really? I mean, Mark 1s are fetching that sort of money, so got to be that kind of figure. So when you want something stylish yet economical, that's perfect. Leave this with me, guys, for a few days, and hopefully I'll have a nice update for you. I'm hoping it doesn't need that much doing. Might be all right with this. Might be a little bit of profit in it for me. Right, see you soon. Well, we're back in my cheap Audi TT, and embarrassingly, I've got a bit of a confession to make. Do you remember how I said I couldn't find the service history for this car, but the main dealer, or my contact at the main dealer where I bought it from, said it had full? Well, after we last spoke, I got back on the phone to him and said, I'm not very happy about this TT. You said it had full history and it's not here. Is it still there, maybe? So he checked his desk and he went, no, it's not here. If I've said it's got full, it's got full. I was like, right, okay, well, it's definitely not in the car. Where else am I supposed to look? It's not in the glove compartment. I've looked in the boot. Where else would it be? And he went, are you sure? So he asked one of his sales lads and they said, yeah, I left it on the passenger seat. I said, well, I'm looking at the passenger seat and it isn't here. Then, this is embarrassing, it was hiding under my camera bag. So I've got this rucksack with me that I keep all my camera gear in, and I just sort of left it on there and I didn't. How stupid of me. I should have probably thoroughly looked before I called. I never cry before I'm hurt like that. But anyway, on this occasion I made a mistake. But on the bright side, it does have full service history, this car. And in addition to that, when I opened the service book up, it had a cam belt and water pump done about 20,000 miles ago, so we're all good. Now back to my spend, which is quite substantial. After we last spoke then, I took this down to my mechanics for a service, an MOT, and I asked them to sort out the wheel bearing. There was a bit of a wheel bearing hump from what I thought was the offside, either front or rear, somewhere around here. On the bright side, it didn't turn out to be a wheel bearing, so I saved myself maybe £80. On the negative side of things, it needed a couple of tyres. The noise, that hum, was coming from worn tyres, basically. And now since they replaced the tyres, well, it's as quiet as anything. It's a nice car, this, you know, for 150,000 miles. It's been looked after really well. Annoyingly, my bill at my mechanics was quite large. So it had a service, MOT, some tyres. They also replaced the bonnet catch, because if you remember, I tried to pull it last time and it sort of just came off in my hand. So that needed to be done. But apart from that, everything else was in pretty good order. And since I've been using it, the radio hasn't acted up since. So I'll keep my eye on that. But thankfully, that didn't lead to a costly repair with that either. I didn't bother refurbishing the wheels. Now, normally I would have taken this to Prestige Wheels and had them refurbished, but it's done 150,000 miles. How good does it have to be, really? It's quite presentable. After I cleaned it, I mean, they cleaned up quite well, so I thought there's no point spending another £300 getting the wheels refurbished. Once I picked this up from my mechanics, the only thing left to do was give it a good clean. So I took it over to Tameside Detailing and had a full valet done, and it cleaned up really well. All the cobwebs and dirt and stuff have now been lifted. I've got some nice lines in my Alcantara seats. So it's another good job done, really. Now, I photographed this earlier and I'm going to advertise it. Not sure what for yet. Not sure how much I can ask for it. Perhaps you could advise me in the comments below, because I'm really not sure. I don't know where to pitch it. I've got to pitch it right, really, because it has done 150,000 miles, but then again, it is a nice one. See? Just torn, really. What I'm going to do now then is head up to my favourite little scenic spot, and I'll talk you through my costs. See you there. Okay then, my little lay-by's nice and quiet. Perfect. Just trying to think how much I paid for this car. I think it was £2,000. Potholes in this lay-by seem to get worse. Right, I'll turn the engine off. Okay then, so get my calculator out. I paid £2,000 for the car. The bill at my mechanics then was, it's quite a big bill this, 71474. So it had an oil filter, a new bonnet handle, well, that was only £10.78. It had 3 tyres matching, so that they were, you know, good quality brand. I didn't want to put like land sales on or whatever. So it's had 3 tyres, they were £405, quite expensive. Some labour and an MOT test fee. So it didn't need an awful lot, did it? But what it did need, you know, was quite expensive. So £714 and 74 pence. In addition to that, it had a valet, that cost me £70. I think that's it. So this once cheap TT now owes me £2,784 and 74 pence. I just don't know how to advertise it. Let me see what Auto Trader suggests actually. I'll just log into my Auto Trader now, bear with me a second. We'll add this. Well, that isn't helpful at all. It hasn't provided me with a retail valuation. Well worth the £6,600 a month I pay to Auto Trader, isn't it that? Well, I'm none the wiser. It's a 2009 58. It's only had 2 owners. It's Quattro, which does make it quite rare. Most were just front wheel drive. What's it worth? It owes me 27 something. 3995? 4295? 449? I don't know. 3995? Should we pitch it at 3995? See if the phone rings. We can always reduce it if I'm stuck with it. But it's quite a nice car, really, isn't it, for £4,000? I think I'll do that. 3995. Let me know below in the comments what you would advertise this for, because I'm stuck in a pothole here. There we go. Yeah, let me know below what you'd advertise this for, but I think 3995 is quite fair for a decent one with 4 new-ish branded tyres. Certainly 3 new tyres. All right then, ladies and gents, well, that's about it. So thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'll leave the links below. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.